Hello and welcome. Can it be it's another Wednesday? It's Wednesday, the 16th of September. I started this venture March 11, or at least that week, when the lockdown started, when the people started to work from home. 6 months already. How is that for you? How is it going for you? As I said many times, I'm a solo entrepreneur. I've been working from home for the past 10 years at least, if not more. So working from home is nothing new for me. But today I would like to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. I've spoken about it before. I think it's important to hear from others who have done it. We think we can become a celebrity overnight. We think we can be known in the industry overnight. I think this is a misnomer. If you want to be known in the industry, it takes a long time. What do they say? Solo entrepreneur or startups, the first 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, show you if a startup can survive. So it's at least 5 years, if not more, I think. So what I read this morning, actually by Simon Sinek, is it doesn't matter when we start. It doesn't matter what we start. All that matters that we start. All that matters is that we start. So it doesn't matter when you start, it doesn't matter what you start, but it matters that you are starting. So it's kind of like your dreams. You dream one step at a time. You start to dream small. Small steps can lead to the bigger step. And when I write a blog or even in my books, I write big steps with capital letters. So you start with small steps, be happy with where you are, be happy with what you can do, and then take the small steps in order to take the big steps. And what have I learned as a solo entrepreneur, as a solo female entrepreneur? It's about doing it, and doing it more. So if you think, again, that the success will come overnight, I don't think so. I've been working a lot. And when you think she's only talking about entrepreneurs, actually, if you work in an organization, they call it intrapreneur. So you're inside an organization, but you still can think like an entrepreneur. So think when you are working for a smaller company, a startup, you are an entrepreneur in an organization. Think as if this organization would belong to you. I think that's when you do the best work. So what if you would own the company? What would you do? Offer some great insights, even if you think it's a stupid idea? Do it. There are organizations who allow people, their teams, to work on crazy ideas. They call it the FedEx idea sometimes, because FedEx is shipping overnight. So you come up with a project and then you share it on any, like some people call it the Friday project or the Saturday projects. You just figuring out something, and by a given day you are presenting your ideas. And the sticky note came out of that. It was like a paper that was stuck to the wall. And now, how many times do we use the sticky notes? What a great invention, I would think. I love the sticky notes. So that sticky note project came out of a overnight Friday, Saturday or Sunday project when people were playing actually. And that's another insight. As an entrepreneur, you're always thinking. At least me, I'm always thinking, what else can I do? What else would be good? What other projects can I work on? creating my new book, writing my new book, editing my book? Can I add something new that might be of interest to somebody? Love to hear your insights. What is important to you when you read a book? Do you read the first few pages? Do you read the last few pages and that's about it? If it's a romance book, might be a little different, but if it's a business book, how do you read a business book? So start somewhere, start with something, doesn't matter what it is, create a prototype and ship it. Share it with the world. One person might like it, it might be the right person. Next thing you know, you're on Shark Tank or Dragon Den, what they have in Canada or in the UK. Who knows? Why not? The other thing that you certainly need, and I would say I don't have enough of that, is patience. We need patience. How can you create patience? So me as a long distance runner, I think I taught myself patience. So when I train for a marathon, not these days, I'm only on short distances because my New York City marathon got cancelled. So then when you are alone on those 10, 15, 18, 19, 20 milers, you have many hours to think and also to endure that distance, to endure the 2-3 hours that you are running in nature, alone, or sometimes with other people. But that is teaching you patience. That's what you need, patience. And Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hours. Actually, if you compile 10,000 hours, it's about 3 years. So how many times have you worked on a project for 3 years already? Do you think within a week it can be done? I don't think so. So take into account that you need the 10,000 hours in order to be successful or to be called an expert in the field. However, the CEO of the 5 Minutes Drink says he doesn't like to be called an expert because then he feels old and he's not an innovator anymore. So do you want to be an expert? No, you want to be an innovator. And the other thing is networking. And many times I talk about networking. And when you look at the word network, it says work. So networking is a lot of work. The days when we were able to meet, you go to an industry event, you meet a lot of people, you were to get a lot of business cards. What I did is I come home and I connect with the people on LinkedIn so I can share my blogs, my podcasts, maybe an article. And a lot of people say like, I don't like LinkedIn so much. Well, I think in LinkedIn, at least for me, it works well. I learn a lot from the industry. I can read interesting articles that I probably myself would not find. And now, very interesting, one of my fellow podcasters, when she finds an interesting person that is related to sports or motivational speaking, she's actually tagging me and saying to me, hey, you better reach out to that person. And guess what? Yesterday, I spoke to a person in French Polynesia. Wait till that podcast is coming out. When would I ever meet a person from French Polynesia? Or I spoke to Kate from Tasmania in Australia. When would I ever meet those people? So that goes to show if you're active in your community, and other people can also help you connect with other people. So it's about creating that connection. It's about creating that mailing list. It's about creating the buzz that you are here and that you have an offering. And the other thing is, it has to be on a consistent basis. So what is it today? It's Facebook Live number 27. Every week since March 11, I've been here giving you some uplifting tips and tricks, Some might be helpful, some might not be for you. But it is something, it's about consistency, it's about never giving up, and it's about showing up. Can you show up? So why am I wearing today a light blue shirt? Well, because my eyes are popping with a light blue shirt. You never see me wear orange. I don't look good in orange, I know that. So when I, even on Zoom, when I have an important meeting, I make sure I wear a color that looks very good on me. I don't wear black, I don't wear orange. That's my trick, How do you look good? And then how do you present yourself? I gave a presentation for a UK-based organization, and these were the early days. I think it was in May. And all I saw was my little picture and my PowerPoint, and I had to speak without an audience. How can I speak without an audience and still have this bubbly energy? Well, I had to create it for myself. So if you are in a Zoom meeting and you have to present yourself, you can actually prepare that. Why don't you prepare a little speech? And it's not that you look down and you basically read off the page, but nobody sees that you have notes on the side. Nobody sees that you have prepared that. So if you are on a Zoom and you're a little nervous, why don't you prepare a little speech for yourself? Hello, I'm the author of Take It From the Iron Woman. You can get it on Amazon. Take it, make it, and repeat it to yourself. You can repeat it in the mirror, so you look good and you look into the mirror. In Zoom, make sure that the camera is good, the lighting is good, so that you all are prepared and that you are looking good. And for the ladies on the Facebook Live, the lipstick is always important. So where is your idea that you have been thinking about, dreaming about, hopefully? It is about, when you have a good idea, it's about sleeping over. So when I write an article, I have to submit it, let's say on next week, Wednesday is a deadline. I like to write it a few days prior to the deadline and then let it rest. Let it rest, and then the next day you come back to it and you're like, who wrote this? Sometimes I'm like, who wrote this? Was this me? Yeah, read over it, maybe correct a few things, edit a few things, add a few things. That's when you perform the best with anything. So don't think you have to push out everything today. As I said at the beginning, when you have an idea, maybe that's your Friday, Saturday, Sunday idea, and plan to put it out there. And if it's something really big, then social media is your best friend. Put it out there. Make sure that everybody in the world knows. So now I want to talk about my stuff. So Monday, Wednesday, we have podcasts coming out. And this week on Monday was Howard from Calgary, Ironman. He does anything in sports that's outdoors without the motor, he said. So he's very passionate, and he's also a real estate person. And basically his message is, he always had a coach in sports, and then when his business didn't go so well, he was like, what is this? He got a coach. All right, do you hear it? He got a coach. And since ever, he said he has had a coach even for his business. So he was much more successful with a coach who can help you a little bit, push you a little bit, push you in the right direction or in different directions, and help you to get on the right path and the right path to success. Certainly an interesting podcast to listen to, and he's also a podcast follower of mine. Today we have Ellen Watterson, and actually she has an event coming up tomorrow, Wednesday the 17th. So if you're interested in writing, her website is called writingranch.com. She is in Oregon, And she just has written another book, The High Desert. And again, if you think she became an author overnight, if you listen to the podcast, it took her 3 or 4 years to research that book because it was based on true stories from that area, rather than just, I don't want to say just, but rather than just writing a memoir that is out of your memory. So you basically write, edit and put it out there. But since it was like a desert trail, she wanted to make sure that the research was all right, and also she fact-checked it. What we typically want to do as a writer, you just want to make sure everything is correct. So she has a celebration tomorrow, and her writing ranch is celebrating 20 years of its existence. So I will have the website here in the comments after the Facebook Live. Check it out. And she's offering writing retreats, one-on-one coaching for writers. Check it out. She's a wonderful person, and she's very passionate about writing, to say the least. And she's also a passionate person when it comes to cross-country skiing. So this podcast will be next. I still have to produce it, but she's very passionate. And as an entrepreneur, even as an entrepreneur, you have to be passionate. If you look down, if you're not happy, what kind of an energy are you sending to the world? Not the most motivated, not the best energy. And also, it's not the best energy for yourself. If you feel happy, if you feel fulfilled, if you are dreaming about something big that you can share with the world, you feel good. It has been proven in research. Focus on positive psychology, focus on the positive. More positive things will come your way. So these are the Monday and Wednesday podcasts. Friday is always the blog day, and I'm in the preparation of finishing up my book. It should come out on December 6th. And what is December 6th? That's the secret. Some of you know what December 6th is. We'll see. We'll celebrate December 6th, hopefully, if all goes well. And that's the other thing that I want to say to all the entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. Don't be so hard on yourself. If it doesn't work for December 6th, it can be January 1st, January 15th, whatever. Don't beat yourself up. I'm not a brain surgeon. I'm not an open heart surgeon either. So if my book doesn't come out on December 6th, it's not the end of the world. So give yourself some time. If you have a day where you don't feel so motivated, maybe that's a day where you just focus on mundane tasks, and the next day is much better. You're more energized, you're more motivated, and all the work is going like 1, 2, 3, much easier. So then why beat yourself up and focus on, like, every day I have to kind of like be glued on the computer for 6-7 hours? Not really. If you're always glued on the computer, innovation cannot happen. We know that. Sometimes you go outside, or if you can go outside, I just want to caution you a little bit, but even if you walk around in your apartment, look at things differently, things will change. Look at things differently, things will change. What has helped me is the photography class. I look at things differently, and I'm like, oh, this might be a nice shot. So why not take something, a class that is totally different from what you are doing, that can give you other inputs. You get to know other people, and that's called networking as well. So when you network with people from different industries, you actually expand your network. This is what Professor Herminia Ibarra says. If you only network with the people in your little industry, in your little sector, how can you break out? How can you break out? So diversify also your network. Make sure your network is broad, interesting, and that you can share what you have to offer. So this is a lot for today. So entrepreneurs, everybody is an entrepreneur. Be motivated, never give up, focus on the 10,000 hours. Maybe we put that in our brain and we're like, okay, have I done 10,000 hours? Put it in a calendar, tally it up. Why not? Maybe you see how many hours it takes. It takes a long time. It can be up to 3 years. How many years have you focused on one project so far? So don't think you have to push out and ship your project tomorrow if you only have worked on it for 10 hours. You might be a genius, but if you look at the geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci, I would assume he has worked many hours. So don't forget, it doesn't matter what you do, when you do it, but it matters that you are doing it. That should be it for today. I wish you a wonderful Wednesday and a good rest of the week. And reach out to me if you have a question. I can do coaching with you. We can pump up your LinkedIn profile, your resume, and just make you fulfill and grateful where you are today. Don't forget. Okay, see you next week. Thank you for chiming in. Bye-bye.